You wake in the middle of the night to a sound you can't quite place. Not a roar, not footsteps, just silence. Your campfire has burned down to glowing embers. The stars stretch across a moonless sky. Somewhere beyond the trees, something is watching. You stay perfectly still. Your breathing slows. Your eyes search the darkness, but all you see are shifting shadows. Then, for a brief moment, two faint reflections appear between the branches. Ah, yes, they remain there for only a second before disappearing as quietly as they came. Morning arrives. You find tracks circling the edge of your camp. Large tracks. A predator had come within yards of where you slept, yet it never attacked. That raises a question most people never think to ask. Why? If humans are slow while sleeping, unaware of danger, and completely defenseless, why don't predators see us as the perfect meal? A sleeping deer is vulnerable. A sleeping seal is vulnerable. Even sleeping primates are often attacked by leopards, snakes, and large cats. So why are humans different? For thousands of years, travelers have reported waking to footprints around their camps, hearing wolves howl through the night, or spotting mountain lions watching silently from nearby hills. In places filled with powerful carnivores, these encounters happen more often than many people realize. Yet actual attacks on sleeping humans remain remarkably uncommon. It's tempting to think predators simply aren't interested in us. But nature rarely works that way. Large carnivores don't survive by ignoring easy opportunities. Every meal matters. Every successful hunt increases the chance of living through another season. If sleeping humans truly looked like easy prey, evolution would have rewarded predators that attacked them. Instead, something very different happened. Across millions of years, predators learned a lesson that became deeply embedded in their instincts. And understanding that lesson requires traveling back to a time long before cities, farms, or even civilization itself. Back to when humans lived under the same constant fear as every other animal. Imagine Eastern Africa nearly 2 million years ago. No houses, no fences, no flashlights, just endless grasslands, scattered forests, and predators everywhere. Lions, leopards, hyenas, saber-toothed cats, massive crocodiles waiting beside rivers. Early humans weren't at the top of the food chain. Far from it. In many places, they were hunted. Fossil discoveries reveal tooth marks on ancient human bones. Some skulls carry punctures matching leopard fangs. Others show damage consistent with giant hyenas. Our ancestors weren't always hunters. Sometimes they were dinner. At first glance, that makes today's situation even stranger. If predators hunted our ancestors, why don't they usually hunt us now? The answer didn't appear overnight. It emerged through countless generations of dangerous encounters. Every meeting between humans and predators became part of an invisible evolutionary conversation. One species learning about the other, one mistake remembered for thousands of years. Most people imagine evolution as changes in bodies, longer legs, sharper teeth, larger brains. But evolution also shapes behavior. Animals inherit instincts because those instincts once kept their ancestors alive. A gazelle doesn't study lions before running. It simply reacts. A bird doesn't calculate whether a shadow belongs to a hawk. It flies. These behaviors exist because hesitation often meant death. Predators evolved the same way. They constantly evaluate risk. Every hunt is a calculation. Not just, can I catch it? But also, what happens if something goes wrong? A broken tooth can mean starvation. A shattered leg can become a death sentence. Even a deep wound may turn fatal without modern medicine. For predators, survival depends on minimizing unnecessary risk. That changes everything, because humans slowly became one of the riskiest animals to attack. Not because we were physically stronger. We weren't. Not because we ran faster. We certainly didn't. Something else made us different. To understand what that was, imagine watching two very different scenes. In the first, a leopard spots an antelope resting beneath a tree. The antelope wakes suddenly. It panics. It runs. If the leopard succeeds, the hunt ends. Simple. Now picture a leopard approaching an early human camp. The first person wakes, then another, then another. Within seconds, several pairs of eyes lock onto the predator. Voices rise. Hands reach for stones. Burning branches are lifted from the fire. The quiet campsite transforms into organized resistance. The leopard hasn't found one sleeping animal. It has stumbled into a group capable of fighting back together. That difference matters more than raw strength. Humans rarely survived alone. We survived because we cooperated. Long before writing, agriculture, or cities, Our ancestors had already mastered something surprisingly rare in nature: collective defense. Most prey animals scatter. Humans gathered. When danger appeared, running wasn't always the first response. Sometimes they shouted. Sometimes they threw rocks. Sometimes dozens of people charged together. Many predators had never encountered anything quite like it. Imagine being a young lion learning how to hunt. You chase zebras. You stalk antelope. You avoid elephants. Then one evening you approach strange primates sleeping around glowing fire. Instead of fleeing, they suddenly stand together, yelling loudly, while objects begin flying toward your face. One sharp stone strikes your shoulder. Another narrowly misses your eye. A burning branch lands nearby. The meal you expected has become a dangerous confrontation. Would you try again tomorrow? Or would you remember that experience for the rest of your life? Researchers studying modern predators often find that individuals remember frightening encounters remarkably well. A single painful experience can permanently change future hunting decisions. Behavior spreads not only through instinct, but through learning. Young predators observe older ones. They copy successful strategies. They avoid dangerous mistakes. Over generations, humans earned a reputation unlike almost any other animal: unpredictable, cooperative, and surprisingly dangerous. If you're enjoying exploring these forgotten chapters of human history, consider subscribing to Human Stories. Every week, we uncover the evolutionary decisions that still shape your life today, from the way your body works to the hidden instincts you never notice. Now, here's where the mystery becomes even deeper. Because cooperation alone doesn't fully explain why predators often leave sleeping humans alone. Something else entered the story, something that completely changed the nighttime balance between hunter and hunted. It wasn't sharper weapons. It wasn't larger numbers. It was something glowing quietly in the darkness. And once humans learned to control it, the entire relationship between our species and Earth's greatest predators began to change forever. That quiet glow was fire. Today, it's difficult to imagine how extraordinary fire once seemed. We flip a switch, light a stove, or start a campfire without thinking twice. But for almost every other creature on Earth, fire still means only one thing: danger. Long before humans fully understood chemistry, predators already understood the consequences of getting too close to flames. Wildfires had shaped ecosystems for millions of years. Animals that respected fire survived. Animals that ignored it often didn't. When our ancestors learned to carry, protect, and eventually create fire, they inherited something far more valuable than warmth. They inherited an evolutionary shortcut. Instead of evolving sharper claws or stronger jaws, humans borrowed one of nature's most powerful forces. A small fire didn't create an invisible wall. Lions, wolves, and leopards could physically walk straight through it if they chose. But evolution isn't about what an animal can do. It's about what experience tells it is worth doing. To a predator approaching a human campsite, the fire wasn't the only warning. There were unfamiliar smells, moving shadows, crackling sounds, smoke drifting through the air, human voices. None of those signals existed around ordinary prey. Together, they created something predators rarely encountered: uncertainty. And uncertainty is expensive. Modern field biologists still see this pattern. Large carnivores often investigate campsites from a distance. Tracks in snow or soft soil reveal circles around sleeping tents. Trail cameras capture bears, wolves, mountain lions, and hyenas pausing to observe before quietly leaving. Sometimes they come astonishingly close. Closer than the people inside ever realize. Most nights, nothing happens. Not because predators fail to notice us. Because they do. They're making decisions. That distinction matters. Many people imagine predators as fearless killing machines, driven only by hunger. Reality is almost the opposite. The most successful predators are cautious. A hungry wolf doesn't charge blindly. A mountain lion may spend hours watching before deciding whether the risk makes sense. Even lions frequently abandon hunts after evaluating the odds. Every attack consumes energy. Every mistake carries consequences. Humans steadily became one of those consequences. But fire still wasn't the entire answer. Something even stranger was happening. Unlike almost every prey species, humans refused to stay prey. Think about what happens after a predator attacks a deer. If the deer escapes, it usually runs away. The encounter ends. Now imagine a predator injuring one member of an early human group. The story doesn't end there. The group remembers. They track. They search. They warn neighboring bands. Sometimes they return the next day. Sometimes they return weeks later. And increasingly, they return with better tools. The predator that succeeded tonight might become the hunted tomorrow. This reversal is extraordinarily rare in nature. Very few prey animals organize delayed retaliation. Humans did, generation after generation. Not because every attack was avenged, but because memory itself became a survival tool. Stories traveled farther than footprints. Children learned which valleys held lions. Hunters remembered where leopards dragged their kills. Communities passed dangerous knowledge across generations. Predators evolved through instincts. Humans evolved through instincts and culture. That combination changed everything. Culture allowed each generation to begin where the previous one had finished. Every dangerous encounter became information instead of being lost forever. Over thousands of generations, our ancestors became better at building safer camps, better at choosing sleeping locations, better at organizing night watches, better at recognizing warning calls from birds and monkeys, better at reading tracks before sunset, better at detecting danger before danger detected them. Predators were evolving too, but biological evolution moved slowly. Human culture accelerated much faster. Eventually, many predators faced an entirely new kind of opponent. Not the strongest, not the fastest, but the one that kept learning. And that's when the question we've carried since the beginning starts to reveal its real answer. People often ask why predators ignore sleeping humans. The better question is why they would choose us when so many safer options exist. A grazing deer won't throw stones. A sleeping seal won't gather 10 companions. An antelope won't build fire. A human camp might contain children, elders, and exhausted hunters. But a predator cannot know which individual will wake first, or how many others are nearby, or whether sharp wooden spears are leaning just beyond the firelight, or whether daylight will bring a group determined to follow its tracks. From the predator's perspective, uncertainty keeps growing, and natural selection quietly favors caution. This is the moment where millions of years of evolution converge into one simple principle. Predators don't avoid sleeping humans because humans are harmless. They avoid sleeping humans because humans stopped behaving like ordinary prey. That's the twist hidden beneath this entire story. It wasn't our muscles. It wasn't our teeth. It wasn't even our intelligence alone. It was the combination of cooperation, memory, communication, technology, and culture. No other species assembled those pieces in quite the same way. Together, they transformed humanity into something evolution had rarely encountered before. A prey animal capable of becoming the hunter. That reputation spread long before written history, long before civilization, long before anyone carved the first words into stone. Every cautious lion, every watchful wolf, every leopard hesitating at the edge of a campsite became part of that silent evolutionary conversation. One generation teaching the next, whether through instinct, observation, or experience, that these strange primates were different. Of course, predators still attack humans. Polar bears sometimes hunt people as prey. Tigers have become man-eaters under certain conditions. Lions occasionally attack villages. Leopards and crocodiles remain dangerous in parts of the world. When predators are starving, injured, cornered, defending young, or lose their natural fear of humans, attacks can and do happen. Nature never offers absolute rules, only probabilities. And across much of human history, the probability increasingly favored avoidance over confrontation. The remarkable part isn't that predators sometimes attack sleeping humans. The remarkable part is how often they choose not to, especially when they almost certainly know we're there. The next time you sit beside a campfire beneath a sky filled with stars, remember that the silence around you isn't empty. Somewhere beyond the light, unseen eyes may still be watching, just as they have for hundreds of thousands of years. Those animals aren't reading history books. They don't understand archaeology or evolutionary biology, yet their behavior still carries echoes of an ancient relationship written long before recorded history. A relationship where every encounter slowly reshaped both hunter and hunted. Our ancestors didn't survive because nature granted them safety. They survived because each generation solved one more problem than the last. One better campsite, one smarter warning, one stronger alliance, one brighter fire, one sharper stone. Tiny improvements repeated across unimaginable stretches of time eventually changed the behavior of Earth's greatest predators. And perhaps that's the most fascinating lesson of all. Human evolution isn't simply the story of becoming stronger. It's the story of becoming the kind of species that changed the behavior of other species. Not through size, not through speed, but through cooperation, learning, and the extraordinary ability to pass knowledge from one generation to the next. The eyes beyond the fire didn't disappear because humans stopped being vulnerable. They disappeared Because evolution taught predators that sometimes the animal lying quietly asleep isn't prey at all. Sometimes it's the beginning of tomorrow's hunter. Thank you for spending time with Human Stories. If this journey changed the way you see our past, we'd love to have you with us for the next one. Subscribe, leave a comment sharing which hidden chapter of human evolution you'd like us to explore next. And until then, keep asking the questions that make ordinary moments reveal extraordinary histories.